Hi, everybody. This is Khaki Jeter. This is my article critique. Um, the article that I chose to do my critique on is called Ready to Start: The Power of Interactive Read Alouds. The author was Tanya Wright, and it was published in the winter of 2018 through 2019 in the American Educator. Just a quick summary of this. It just really goes along with the title about just how interactive read louds are just so important in the early childhood education program. It just talked about how teachers really need to dive in and dig in when they're doing these read alouds and make sure you're not just going through a book and reading the text, and you need to really get in there and ask questions and talk to your kids and make sure that it's more of a back and forth conversation and not just the teachers standing in front of the class or sitting in front of class and just reading the words. You got to track it. You got to introduce the vocabulary words. You've got to do those picture walks and just little things that we all kind of know, that are important, but it just sometimes may fall to the wayside because you're short on time, or maybe it's not the most interesting book. But I really liked just kind of how they broke everything down. You just got to really make sure that you're picking the right kind of text for your children and make sure you're getting a variety for them. I feel like in the pre-K setting, it's so easy just to concentrate on those fiction books. We always have, make-believe stories and fairy tales and all these things that, are so interesting and so fun for those kids, but we always tend to leave out those nonfiction books. And we've really got to bring those in to help these kids, kind of broaden, their experiences and all the things that they're learning about. We can't just teach them about fairy tales. And some kids, don't have the opportunities to go out and do all kinds of different experiences. So we have to be able to bring those into the classroom. And the best way to do that is through books. Um, Another thing that it really talked about was just that these are just the small steps that you got to do in education. I feel like we read a story, in my classroom, we read a story almost every day. And so I just want to make sure that I take these opportunities, that I'm very strategic with it. Um, that I don't just spring, a 20-page book on them on the first day, that I really build up and I make these kids love reading. I want them to come to the carpet time and really enjoy. And that's what this article was talking about, was how to make these read alouds fun and interesting and exciting for the kids instead of it just, you sitting there reading a bunch of words. I chose this article mainly because I'm super interested in learning more, but I wanted to know how to make it better in my classroom. It's something that I do and something that I find really important. But I wanted to read it to see what I was doing correctly and things that I can do to make it better. Number three asked why, how this pertained to our class. I feel like read alouds can be an issue for a lot of teachers. They're not sure what to do or sure if they're doing it right, but it's also super on trend. Um, the people that come in and observe us in our state are always wanting to see our read alouds. That's one of the main things that they stay for and observe us on. They want to see us at carpet time, see us interacting with the students. They don't want it just to be a teacher. They want it to be the teacher and the children really, getting involved and swept up in a book and just, making it a full out conversation. Number four was, how does this article enhance your teaching and your parent skills? I feel like it was really great to me because it helped me figure out how I'm going to do this better in my classroom. Um, One of the main things, first off, is I've got to do better about the different kinds of text. I can't just, focus on fiction. I have to bring in these nonfiction books. I have to, if we're talking about apples, we can read about Johnny Appleseed and make applesauce and, introduce all those vocabulary words. And that's just one of the things I've really got to concentrate on, is making sure I bring in those nonfiction books and, teach these kids all these experiences and things that they may not actually know about. I also thought it'd be really interesting to use these strategies on my children at home. We normally read books at our house at home every night, or, every other night when we get the opportunity. And one thing that also we do is we fall into this, fiction story. We read, these made up stories that my oldest daughter likes to read. But I really want to start pushing to, bring in those nonfiction stories into, their bedtime routines also. And another way I want to do it is, my oldest is in first grade, so she's really interested in reading right now and she loves to read out loud. So I'm going to have her start reading more to her little sister and, just jumping in and asking questions and, really, what is that picture about? Or, let's talk more about that vocabulary word that we may not know. And it'll benefit both of them because, to give my oldest one more practice. And my younger one, she'll be, starting to learn those, the basics of reading and tracking and, the print and, in the books. And so I can use it, at school and at home. And the last thing was my critique. I really enjoyed this, but I kind of strategically picked this article knowing that I was going to really like it because it's something that I was so interested in. The author did just told us all kinds of things and gave me all kinds of great examples and things that I could do. And, I want to try to attempt to do all these things in my classroom. She was very positive about how read alouds are where we need to start in education. And so if we can do that in pre-K and teach these kids how important it is, to hear stories and to, start comprehending and learning, then they'll eventually work toward, learning to read. The only thing that I kind of found this article, I wish I would have seen maybe a study or some statistics more about it of, just to see the growth of students of, maybe at the beginning of the year, some students who have never been exposed to many read alouds and, students who have been getting a variety of it, maybe at a daycare center, and just to see, if it really helps. Because as a teacher, I know that it really helps. I see it, but I would also like to see it more, in numbers to make sure, just to kind of give me that reinforcement that I am doing a good job and that it really is helping my kids out. So it was a great article, and I recommend any early childhood education major or teacher to read it because it really gave some really good feedback and information on how to make your read alouds in your classroom great.